do. In fact, it's a type of stream I haven't done in a very hot minute. Because today we're going to be doing a debate stream. I know, it's crazy. It's been, what, like over a year since the last one I've done one of these? Actually, that's not true. I think there was one case where I did a debate stream. I think there might have been like a couple exceptions where I've like debated on stream, and maybe one exception where I dedicated a stream to debate. But aside from that, I want to get back into debate. I've already said this before, and I'll say it again. I've been, I've had a newfound passion for debate, so we're basically going to be doing call-ins now. It's very epic. With that being said, hello, Fixie Pixie. Congratulations on being the first person in chat. Hello, Nyla. Hello, Lexi. Hello, Joyful Vibes. Hello, I don't want to talk about it. Hello, Coconuts Have Water in Dem. Hello, Dog. Hello, Joyful Vibes. Hello, Ian Catlover. Hello, Randy S. Hello, Bullseye2K. Hello, Raylan. Hello, Lilith the Foxy. Never mind, I don't want to call in. Well, if nobody calls in, I will just, like, debate random people in chat if they say something I disagree with. But that's besides the point. But yeah, all you would have to do to call in is just join the call-in server. So, basically, if you click on my channel, right? And you go to the About section. So, if you, like, go here, right? You'll see my channel, right? Where you press, like, the little More button. I don't know what it looks like on computer, right? You'll see right here, it says call-ins. You want to join the call-in server, basically. And then you'll be able to join the waiting room. I'll verify you. Yeah. So with that being said, I think I'll just have to keep an eye on the verification room, and yeah. With that being said, I will be, yeah, I'll just waiting for somebody to disagree with me on chat. I wish YouTube had the call-ins like TikTok. Yeah, that would be based, dude. I wish they did. That'd be sick. Raw, me, Femyoz, ayo? What does that even mean? I keep forgetting. I need to have Discord open so that, like, I can just keep an eye on the waiting room and whatnot. I did not know you don't have an OnlyFans. I don't care. Oh, I did not know you had an OnlyFans. I don't care. Fair. Yos, what's good? I don't know. We're going to be doing a debate stream, hopefully. If anybody wants to call in. For now, we're going to be doing, like, the normal thing where it's just chatting. Where it's, the usual, just sort of me talking to you. Yes, you, the beautiful people watching. I know, it's crazy. Who would have guessed? But yeah. Oh wait, I don't mean to be typing on the thing. Sorry, I'm like just trying to. Oh, I have a better idea. What I could do is instead of having it on my computer screen, I could just use my phone screen. Just have Discord open on my phone so I can glance down and see if anybody's in the waiting room. But for anybody that does join the server, I will be basing it off of, like, if you say something in chat, just say something in chat if you're in the waiting room, and then, yeah, I'll invite you. I expected to have more people in the waiting room. God damn it. This is fucked up. Hello, Nikki She there. Hello, Lilith the Foxy. My birthday is tomorrow. Fair enough. Oh, there is one person in the waiting room. And it is, Ghosty. Ghosty, you're on stream. What is up?
Hello. What's up, guys? Religion. Let's debate religion.
Okay. What's your religious worldview?
Well, actually, it's kind of unique, honestly. I believe that the Big Bang happened, but I don't believe it just happened on its own. I don't think that's entirely accurate. I think that some kind of deity had to have made that happen. It just doesn't make sense to me that it happened on its own.
I mean, it's possible. It's possible that there was a deity, but I have no reason to believe that that's definitively the case.
Of course.
Keep in mind, I'm an agnostic atheist. I'm only an atheist in the sense that any organized religion, I disagree with. Yeah, in terms of whether or not there is a god, I don't necessarily...
God either. I don't know.
Oh, God. I'm lagging, I think. Hold on. I think I might have lagged.
You did a little bit.
Okay. No worries, no worries. Hopefully, let me know if it keeps lagging, chat.
No, you're good.
It might be
Well,
because
you're
I
good on
have...
my end.
Okay. Alright, we'll see. This is new. We're very new to this right now.
Yeah, cooking me already. Let's see.
Anyways, so, like, do you disagree with, like, do you believe that it's definitively the case that there must necessarily be some sort of deity? Or do you believe it's the case that either possible case scenario is possible, right? Do you believe it's the case that there could be or could not be some sort of conscious entity that created the
but I don't know. It just makes sense more to me that there is some kind of deity.
Why does that make more sense?
I don't know. I don't
know.
Necessarily think that we are just kind of. I don't think we just spawned here on our own. I think someone or something had to have made that happen.
Someone or something? Would that something have to be conscious?
I guess not.
Well, then there you go. Then that wouldn't be some sort of god, right? So you would agree that God does not, that the existence of the universe is not necessitated by some sort of god or conscious entity, right?
Probably not, but I think there's probably an afterlife. Because I mean,
what?
I've seen evidence of ghosts myself. Like in my dad's old apartment, we were told that someone had died in there, and we saw doors open and close. Stuff like that happened on its own.
So doors can open and close due to air pressure, right? So for example, like if I have my windows open during the summer or whatever, right, when it's like not freezing cold out, right, what'll oftentimes happen is my door will be open or partially open, right? And I'll get scared because I'll hear it slam shut, right?
Right.
It's not that anybody is slamming it shut. It's not that there's a ghost. It's literally just because the pressure in my room is closer to the pressure outside, which is going to be different from the pressure in the other room. So whether or not the doors are opening and closing is going to have more to do with there being like a different level of pressure in each room, right? So that's not really evidence of there being ghosts, right?
No, fair.
Anything, the other thing you mentioned was anecdotal, right?
What did I say?
You said something about somebody telling you something, right? Or was that what they told you? Was that the doors would do things on their own?
No, I witnessed that happen.
You witnessed it happen. Yeah, so you witnessed the door close, right? And I have too, but that's just due to the pressure being different from in one room versus the other, right? That doesn't prove the existence of ghosts.
Right? How do you explain in the other room, and we came to see what was on the floor? None of us were in the other room.
I cut out for a second, or one of us cut out. Oh god, I'm like lagging.
Oh shit.
I hope it's not Discord causing me to lag. But oh god. Give me a sec. Let me just like take a look. I don't know why it would be so laggy.
Florida man said bro's debating a ghost on if ghosts are real. Well, shit.
Okay, anyways. So, what were you saying? How do you prove that what?
Huh?
I think you were asking me a question, but like one of us cut out. I think I lagged.
Fuck. I lagged and then something about the fuck.
I have no idea.
I just fucking had it, dude.
It's okay. It's okay. We were talking about how you supposedly saw evidence of ghosts, which is that the doors were closing on their own. I gave the alternative, more intuitive explanation, at least intuitive to me, which is that no, it's actually the case that when the pressure is different in one room versus the other, that's going to cause the door to close, right? For example, when I have my windows open in the summer, because the air outside is going to be of a different pressure than the air inside, right? That's what causes the door to close, right? Like, it would make sense that there would be like a ghost that exclusively closes my door when the windows are open, right? That doesn't make any sense. It's not a ghost, right? There's just not a logical conclusion to come to. Like, there's like an obvious scientific explanation there, right? Now, maybe it's not obvious for some people. Hell, maybe it's not obvious for most people, I would say. I think that that's something that my dad mentioned at one point, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But yeah. So Is there any other evidence that you would have to support your claim that there is some sort of God or afterlife?
Oh, well, I'm not saying there's evidence. Nobody knows for sure.
Okay.
It just, I don't know.
Okay, what is a
For me,
logical
it just
reason to believe
doesn't.
it?
It doesn't make much sense for me to believe that that there's nothing to what some of the religions are saying.
How come?
Well, maybe it's just nice to
like, I guess as like a clarifying question, like if this is like a difficult to answer, if it's the case that religion is just written by a bunch of people, right, human beings, right, why would that necessarily have to be grounded in some sort of objective truth? Why
that's
is
fair.
that not just the subjective opinion of
Right,
who's
I
writing?
did earlier. I did mention that I don't necessarily believe what what the Bible and stuff like that is saying.
Why
I
not?
did say that. Huh?
Why not?
Why don't I believe in the Bible?
Yeah.
Because like it definitely seems very man-made, and if God is real, he wouldn't. No, well, it's literally written by humans. They put their names down in there and everything.
That's true. Well, that wouldn't be a very good argument against the. I mean, I guess maybe you could make the argument that like because it's written by humans, it's necessarily going to be their interpretation and perception of God, and that their perception would be imperfect or whatever. Meaning that the Bible is imperfect and therefore not an accurate representation of God. If that's what you're trying to articulate.
Yeah, I do believe in God, but I don't believe that humans have it correct at all. Because we're humans and God would be God.
Wait, you do believe in God? Why do you believe in God?
Yes. Give me a second.
While you do that, I'll ask chat.
Oh, god damn it, chat. God told the people to write the Bible. God told the
Don't look at chat. Don't look at chat. Don't look at chat. Bad idea.
How do you know that? How do you know that?
Don't look at chat during a debate. Okay. Bad idea. Unless you're me. I might mute at some points if when you're like thinking of a question and respond to chat. If there's like dead air.
That's fair.
Don't listen to Florida man. Yeah. Yeah, don't look at chat. Only I can do that because I'm more experienced to debate. And I usually don't. In fact, I've been not looking at chat. Anyways, so you said that you do believe in God, right? So that's like
I do believe in God.
An affirmative claim, okay. So why? What led you to that conclusion?
It's kind of hard to explain.
Okay.
But
is it like an intuition you have? Is it like a like a presupposition?
It is some kind of intuition. I do believe in a deity. Like I do believe there is some kind of deity.
Okay. And what are the properties of this deity? Do you have any idea of what that would look like?
No, not really.
Okay.
I just know that we don't really fully understand what it is. I don't have I haven't thought of a good kind of explanation for what I think this deity is.
Right. Yeah, so it seems to be the case that you
I do
have
think
some
there's
sort of
something. It just had to be something.
Well, there doesn't have to be. It's not a necessity, right?
Okay.
Or do you think that it is? If that's the case, then we could go down that line of argumentation.
I think there's got to be something. I don't think it's
based on what? Your intuition again?
I'm not going to say because I said so, but something like that.
So because you said so. That's what it boils down to. Is your intuition, you feel like something is the case, therefore it's true.
I do feel like something. Okay. I feel like there's something is the case.
Okay, well, I have a really good counter argument. Okay? I intuitively feel like there isn't a God. Okay?
Okay.
Why would your argument be fundamentally different? If my intuition contradicts yours, yeah.
I'm not trying to prove that there is a God or there isn't a God.
So why do you trust your intuition to allow you to arrive at truth if your intuition contradicts the intuition of others?
Comfortability has to do with it for sure.
Comfortability. Okay.
Yeah.
So is it like in order to maximize utility for yourself?
What does that mean?
Like, I guess the utility function that I would
Like control of life or
ascribe
something?
is no, like the utility function that I would ascribe when talking about ethics would be hedonic, right? So to clarify, that'd be like pleasure versus suffering. So pleasure would be positive utility, suffering would be negative utility, right?
Mm.
So is your belief on the basis of maximizing positive utility?
Yeah.
Okay. That I don't really have like an issue with that. I would like I guess I would like disagree with like the truth value
And
of it.
I
But
wouldn't
in terms of
believe
whether or not,
God. I wouldn't believe this God is like a hateful God or anything.
of course.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
I
Well,
think
if
it's
it's the case,
probably likely that if there is a God, that it's God loves everyone. I don't know. I'm not sure actually.
yeah. Well, that's fair. It's kind of hard to know. It's kind of hard to know what knowledge is, what it means to know something. I mean, hell, there are philosophical debates about what it means to perceive something, right? For example, like there's like direct realism, indirect realism. Like those would be two examples of and I could get into that, but like the what we perceive to be the case is like I think very limited. But yeah. With that being said, I mean if it's just like if you acknowledge that like it's not like a logical basis behind it, you just like
Yeah.
choose to believe in it, not because it's the most likely outcome, but because it like is something that maximizes utility for you, then I don't really have an issue with that.
Yeah.
Obviously that doesn't really negate the fact that it doesn't really hold any truth value, but
No.
I don't have like it's not like I'd be like I guess I don't see a need to change your opinion on that because I don't want to
Yeah.
do something that minimizes utility because that would go against my
I guess I'll like
ethics.
try to like maybe do more research on what my feelings are and why I have these, and maybe I'll come back someday with an actual argument.
Well, that's fair, but I'd be careful, right? If it's the case that you're
Okay.
trying to make an actual argument for something, I would definitely advise that that like you believe in something for more than just like intuitive reasons, right?
Yeah.
And also, it's going to be the case that like if you're willing to defend a position like this, you don't want to just like you want to know that you have like maybe not know, but like have like a good understanding of why you think that your position is the correct one.
Okay.
Is that the real President Sunday? Wait,
Oh
wait,
my
wait, wait, wait,
God.
wait, wait. No way, no
What's
way, no
going on?
way.
I can't
That's
fucking see
fake.
what's
That's
going
not
on.
really. That's not President Sunday. That's not real. Wait. No way. Hold on, let me click on the channel. Wait, is that really him? Yo! Dude, it's President Sunday. Okay, okay, okay. Mr. Sunday. Oh my god. Yo. I did not expect that. Okay, so basically,
What the fuck?
join the oh wait, hold on. Let me go into the thingy, the whatchamacallit. Are you in the President Sunday? Let me
Huh?
verify.
Oh, someone else
Let
wants
me
to
verify some
debate.
people. And then dude, alright, I'm gonna talk to President Sun. Oh god, dude.
I'm gonna talk to
I'm nervous. I'm nervous. Okay,
Sorry.
I'm gonna remove you and add
Okay.
President Sunday. Oh god, chat, I'm nervous as hell. Yo, what's up?
Hello there, how's it going?
Hello. This feels strange because I've watched quite a bit of your content.
Yeah,
I'm
I've
like
seen you from
actually
time to
kind of
time.
nervous. I'm kind of nervous. What do you want to talk about?
Well, that is an excellent question. A rapscallion by the name of Morau suggested, well, I'm very sick, that I should call in and debate you on something.
Okay.
So since the only thing I'm aware of is very vaguely, because I haven't had the pleasure of watching it yet, is you bringing up the Chud Logic grooming allegations recently, I can't think of anything better.
All right, we'll debate on that then. Okay.
All right.
Child logic
maybe
grooming
you'll
allegations.
maybe you'll be willing to refresh me very quickly on what your allegations are, since I haven't seen them yet.
So I'm less interested in whether or not it's categorized as grooming. I'm more interested in like whether or not what Chud Logic did was immoral, and I think that it's immoral
Right.
for all of the same reasons that it would be immoral to have that kind of conversation with a 17-year-old if you're 30, rather than a 33-year-old and an 18-year-old.
That's interesting.
Right?
So, what are those? Can you clarify those for me?
Yeah, so there's going to be like a huge discrepancy in like their maturity, right? There's going to be like an obvious, like,
Is that a given?
huge gap there.
I've met some very immature 30-year-olds myself.
Well, it's not a given, right? But it's more likely to be the case than not. So if we're talking about the predicted utility of that
Predicted
dynamic, it's
utility.
gonna
I
be
haven't
negative.
heard that term before. What is that?
Yeah, so if it's the case that like I assume you know what utility is, or should I describe that as well?
Why don't you assume that I don't know anything?
I mean, if you want, I can. So when I say
Please.
predicted utility, I'm basically, so utility basically, in the way that I use it, according to my worldview, would be like in relation to pleasure, suffering, right? So positive utility would be pleasure, negative utility would be suffering, right?
So just to be clear, is your objection that this would cause the person he was sexting with negative pleasure?
You mean suffering? It's the most
Would it cause her
likely
suffering?
outcome.
How so? How have we determined this?
I believe it's the case that when you have like a relationship with like a really huge age
I'm being a
gap,
dick. I
person's
apologize. But
twi-
continue, please.
No worries. No worries. So I believe it's the case that like if somebody is twice the age of the other person, that it's just going to be like a very unhealthy dynamic. I think that that's going to be.
Why do you think so?
I'm pretty sure that's what the research
Just to get
suggests.
into the specifics, so we understand like a mechanism here. Why specifically do you think so in this case?
Because of the power
I'll
dynamic.
put some cards on the table myself. Don't worry, I won't just ask you questions. Just so
Yeah.
I understand your logic, though.
Yeah, I would say because of the power dynamic would be like one of the main reasons. Like I don't think
Power
there would be
dynamic.
a good power dynamic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we clarify what is the power dynamic in particular?
Yeah, so I would say that like somebody like Chud Logic, who is like twice this person's age, not, well, I guess less than twice their age, but like way the fuck older than them, 33. This person's like barely an adult, like they're young enough to be in high school.
Well, to be clear, by
So
barely an
obviously-
adult, you mean an adult? Yes, just to be clear.
Well, yeah, of course. I'm not saying that
Okay.
Chud Logic did anything illegal.
No,
right?
of course
That's never
not.
been my claim.
No, the issue is moral. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So it's going to be the case that like just due to having more life experience, I would say due to
All right, let me put a hypothetical to you, if you'll indulge me.
mhm.
Okay, let's imagine a room. Okay, there's a room, and there is a crowd of people on either side of the room. There's two doors on either side. All right? And all of the people on both sides of that room, outside both doors, have been selected, regardless of their age, for their physical appearance. They all look exactly the same, exactly the same age, etc. But they're not. A large number of them are in their 30s. They just look very young. A large number of them are in their late teens, early 20s, legal adults. But they look rather mature for their age. They're all meeting somewhere in the middle. And at random, one from each will enter into the room, and they will have sexual relations, and they will leave, and they will not know the age. If a 30-year-old and a 20-year-old meet in that room, will they experience any more harm than if a 20-year-old and a 20-year-old met in that room, given that all of the aesthetic and physical parameters will, from their perspective, be identical?
I would argue like, yeah, no, if it's just like a one night stand and like everything else is identical, then yeah, no, in that
Indeed.
hypothetical. Right, yeah, there
No
would be
harm.
no negative predicted utility, obviously. Like you wouldn't be
Okay.
like
Why don't we just if you'll
yeah,
forgive
like, I
me,
wanna make
why
it
don't we just, for the
clear.
love of all that is bright and beautiful in this world, just say harm instead of negative utility, because it's going to give me cancer.
Yeah, sure. We could say it. Sorry. Well, sure, we'll go with harm.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't
Well,
mean to give you
in
cancer.
your judgment, there would be no additional harm.
Yeah, in the hypothetical that you proposed, yeah.
All right. Now, let's say they aren't having sex; they're just entering into a chat call with each other, and they are assigning each other an age based on their own personal avowal, and they aren't entering into any kind of contractual or interpersonal relationship with any kind of financial or emotional entanglement. Would there be harm then?
Like if they're just like chatting, in what sense?
Sexting. Let's say, for example, something as let's say Stephen Bennell level extreme as I will penetrate the horny. Say.
Oh my. So wait, and what would the age gap be?
It could be anything. It could be 2020. It could be 2030. It could be 1834, maybe. I don't know.
Mm. Well, I think that sexting somebody that's like half your age would be wrong, right?
No, sure, but I didn't ask you that. I asked you if there would be harm.
Mm.
To be clear, the Lord Jesus does say, if you even look at a woman with lust in your heart, you have committed adultery with her.
Mm. Yeah, so I'm just trying to think. Like I guess like if there's like, I would say, yeah, I would probably, like it would likely cause harm to, allow for a, um, to like socially allow or encourage, like a, like
Can you
somebody
allow me to
that's like
comment?
33. Hmm?
Can you allow me to comment?
Yeah, go for it.
I have a strong suspicion, and it's an impulse that I share, that a major motivating factor for you calling this immoral is actually that you find Chud Logic a little icky due to his age, but that there isn't actually any determinate harm that you can point to.
Is there any harm that you could point to if it was a 17-year-old instead of an 18-year-old?
I actually have an answer to that. It's sophisticated. You ready for it?
Go for it.
Okay. The issue is not that in any case there would be a specific harm that you can point to. The issue would be that we set an age of consent specifically because past a certain threshold, we are not responsible in assuming that we can correctly judge whether a person is mature enough or not. However, once they reach the age of consent, once they are legally adults, we have to, at a certain point, allow people to make decisions and be advocates for themselves and judges for themselves. And so unless somebody is acting in a manipulative fashion and taking advantage of someone's vulnerabilities in order to guide them into a place where they are in sexual relations they would otherwise, in a better mental place, refuse, I struggle to see what the issue is from the vantage point of the other person. Make sense?
Yeah.
So for instance, my logic, that example I gave you, you could very well say some of them looked exactly the same and were 17, 16 even, 15 perhaps. Maybe they all look 15, but some are 30, some are 15. All right? Sex is a very serious thing. It can actually have some negative impacts on you, etc., etc. It would be most incorrect, in my opinion, to assume, based on your third-person vantage, that another person who is below a certain age is capable of making that judgment, even if they appear to be able to. Your Honor, they were really mature at 15 is not a compelling argument. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So that would be my opinion. So when I look at this issue with Chud Logic, what I see is something essentially identical with those two people entering into that room. Presuming they're all legal adults, which Chud Logic, to his credit, little young for my taste, to be totally honest with you, but Chud Logic, to his credit, did ascertain that the person was above 18 and was an adult. Yes.
Yeah, and like I made that clear when I was talking about it. Like I made it clear, like, okay, yeah, this person did lie about their age. They said that they were 18, they were 17, but we'll just presume that they're 18 for the sake of argument, right? Because that's what Chud Logic was going off of, right? I wasn't gonna like.
Well, to my knowledge, I don't think we actually have confirmation that the person was 17. I think we have their claim after the fact, after they'd already lied about their age to Chud Logic, allegedly. For all we know, this person, unless someone's clarified, since I haven't really followed it that closely, unless someone's clarified, since this person could very well be Chud Logic's age. We don't know.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, because in the UK, the age of consent is 16, right? So that's where they sort of draw the distinction, right? So would you be okay with...
I believe it's similar to Canada, though, where it's technically 16, but that's 16 with like a 2-year minimum difference. So, for example, a 16-year-old could consent to sex with an 18-year-old, but not with a 19-year-old or a 20-year-old or so on and so forth. I could be mistaken about that, but that's how it is here. Which I think is a good rule, personally.
Yeah, so that would be like I guess like the like equivalent to like the US Romeo and Juliet laws. But I thought that it actually was just 16 in the UK. I don't know, chat. What's...
I could be mistaken on this. I certainly hope not.
Yeah, I hope not as well, but that's what I've heard.
Now, if they exchange sexual images, this becomes a bit more important, because if this person lied about being 18 when they were underage, then actually sharing, for example, like lewd images would be CP. Yes.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah. Because for some reason not for some reason, I actually think it's very wise. In fact, I actually think very wise is the wrong word. Sharing sexual images has a higher age threshold than having sex, period.
Yeah, I
So,
do think
yeah.
that's true. I mean, I don't know. I think that like the main issue that I have is, like it's gonna be the case that because like the messages were in like March and April, right? So most people that are 18 in months like March and April are likely still gonna be in high school, right?
So?
At least if you're in America or whatever the fuck.
I had sex in high
They-
school.
they- well, yeah, but did you have
At
sex
18.
with a 33-year-old?
What would be the difference? Elaborate, please.
Well, the 33.
Now, if we're talking, to be clear, if we're talking about a 33-year-old that you are now being enticed to get into a relationship with and have financial and emotional entanglements with, like to marry, say, that'd be one thing. But if we're talking about someone who is of age, legal age, they are an adult, and they are entering into a purely physical relationship, I struggle to see the difference between this and a relationship with someone of their own age, except for appearance, because that is indeed all they are interfacing with, just the physical body of the person, yes?
I suppose that would be the case.
In this case, not even that.
I guess you do have a point.
Well, I guess I win. It's been a pleasure, by the way.
Fair enough.
My voice is going,
Yeah.
so I'm going to have to take off now. You can say that I ran, though, okay?
All right.
take
Goodbye,
it easy.
President Runday.
You have a good
one.
night. Bye-bye.
All right. That was a good convo. He actually did kind of change my perspective a bit. Because like my intuition tells me like, okay, like Chud Logic 33, like would you want this guy? Would you want this fucking mole rat to pick your daughter up from high school to have sex with her? But I mean, if even though she's technically 18. But I guess he's right in that it's like kind of difficult to establish what the direct harm is if it's a purely sexual relationship. I'm gonna drag this person in. Hello, you're on the air now.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hi. I was looking at the topic list, and the one that caught my eye was veganism. Where do you stand on
Veganism, okay. I am pro-veganism. I think that veganism is the ethically correct position.
Ooh, okay. Well, I take the opposite position, so I guess.
All right,
I don't know
guess
if you
that'll
wanna
be the debate
start off.
suggestion. Oh god, I haven't even done a veganism debate before.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you agree that animal suffering is bad?
Sorry?
Do you agree that animal suffering is bad?
Not inherently. I don't think so.
What do you mean by inherently?
Like the suffering of, I don't know, like a bacteria or something. I don't know if that's very meaningful to me.
Well, a bacteria wouldn't suffer, right? They don't have the capacity to experience qualia. Right?
Oh,
So
well, what about
when I
an
talk
ant?
about well, an ant doesn't experience qualia, so no. Right?
Sorry,
when
what
I'm
is
talking
qualia?
about suffering, I'm talking about something that some sort of conscious entity would have the capacity to experience, right? In which case, like if we're talking about bacteria is not conscious, right? It's not sentient, right? So it wouldn't warrant moral consideration. Same thing with an ant, right? It most likely doesn't have the capacity to actually experience things, right? Whereas like a dog or a cat would absolutely, right?
What do you mean by experience things? I don't. You have to qualify that a little bit more.
Yeah, so like the like you would agree that like you have the capacity to experience pleasure or suffering, right?
Yeah, I'd hope so.
Yeah. Okay. Do you believe that this applies to certain animals such as cows or pigs?
Yeah, it's just where that line is drawn is the issue I have.
Well, it's not
I
about
don't
drawing
know.
the line. I mean, if we're talking, let's just because I mean,
Well,
like,
it
if I
sort of
could-
is
if I
about
could
that,
move
right?
you
Because
to-
you can farm mealworms, right? What would you say? Like a mealworm has this
so when I
capacity
argue in
to
favor of
experience-
veganism, like I don't take like a hard line stance. A mealworm, I wouldn't really give a fuck about if you eat a mealworm, right? It's not even about eating it. It's more about buying products that are that are contingent upon animal suffering, right? So the issue I
Yeah.
have with it is you would agree that like do you agree that factory farming is bad? Like the way that they do it?
I do, but it's not
Okay.
like a moral issue I have with it. It's more
It's
so
not
like
a
an
moral
environmental
issue?
one.
An environmental one.
It ravages the environment like
Do you
most
think
of
that
our.
Do you think that the suffering of animals then is like morally permissible?
I consider it for the most part morally neutral.
Morally neutral. Would it be morally neutral to skin a dog alive?
Well, I guess it would sort of. Well, if I'm okay with factory farming morally, I guess it would have to be. Yeah.
You're okay with skinning a dog alive. Why are you okay with skinning a dog alive?
No, I said it says morally neutral.
Oh, yeah. So if something is morally neutral, that means you're not against it, meaning you're okay with it. That's what that means. So you're okay with somebody skinning
No,
a
it does
dog
not mean I'm
alive,
okay
right?
with it. It does not mean I'm okay,
You're not okay with it?
It means I
What does it
don't.
mean
I don't
to be
really.
okay with something?
It means like I consider like a slight agreement to be okay with it.
A slight agreement? What the fuck does that mean?
It means like to be okay with something would be like. Sorry.
So it's either the case that it's okay, right, morally,
Yeah.
or that it's not okay morally, according to your framework. So if
Yeah.
according to your moral framework it's okay, then you're okay with it, right? Otherwise, you don't believe in your own moral framework.
True. Yeah. Okay.
So is it okay
Hold on,
or is it
hold
not
on,
okay to skin a
let
dog
me
alive? Like, are you or are you not okay with it?
Can I ask you something else?
Well, I need you to answer the question. I need to know if you're okay with it or not.
I think the action itself. I don't know if I think it like it's indicative of something wrong with you
Wrong. Okay.
if you're
Why would
skinning
it
a
be
dog.
wrong?
Well, I'd assume you skin a dog alive. Now I've never done that, but I would assume you'd do it because you'd like the pain of the dog. Like that'd be something you'd like, and I think that is indicative of a wider, like a bigger issue with your psyche.
A bigger
Now,
issue with your psyche? So,
Yeah.
so if there wasn't like an issue with the psyche, you'd just be okay with it? Like if you knew for certain that this person was just gonna like skin a dog alive, it wasn't gonna affect their psyche in any way, but they just really want to skin this dog, like you'd be okay with that then?
I guess that would have to be, yeah.
You'd be okay with that. Okay. What
Yeah.
about the same thing but somebody raping a dog?
So the same thing, like they just want to do it, but they don't enjoy it.
Yeah, they just decide to do it. Yeah, it doesn't matter if they enjoy it or not.
Okay,
Just it doesn't
just to be
impact
clear
their
here,
future
we're
actions.
getting to some
They
very
just want to. They just
unrealistic
really want.
scenario here. I don't think there are very many people who would like want to rape a dog, but
Okay.
don't enjoy it. But to be clear,
Okay.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
Well, it's not about whether or not they enjoy it, right? Let's just say that whatever psychological conditions they have are inevitable. It's not going to increase or decrease the extent to which they would rape a dog. Okay. Let's just isolate the
Okay.
variables here. Do you think it's wrong for them to rape a dog? Right?
Like the action itself.
Yeah.
I guess I don't really. I mean, I've already said I don't really care about most animals, like in that
Okay.
respect. Like I don't think. So I guess no. Like the action itself isn't really.
So you're okay with raping dogs? Okay.
Wait, hold on. Okay, let's be clear here. The example you gave, right, was a person who did not get any enjoyment out of it. They just decide they want to do it, which is a very weird
you're okay
example.
with raping dogs as long as you don't enjoy it.
Well, no, I already said the example's ridiculous.
I don't care if the example's ridiculous, right? I'm trying to poke at you logically, right? So if it's the case that you think that if somebody rapes a dog but they don't enjoy it, okay, that it's morally justifiable, do you not see why there's an issue with that?
Well, I guess explain it to me then.
Yeah, so I believe that it's wrong to rape dogs, mainly because it hurts the dog, right? Dogs generally don't want to be raped, okay? Same thing with skinning a dog alive. I think it's bad to skin dogs alive because it causes harm to the dog, right?
Well, you have to explain why I should care about the harm of the dog.
Because it experiences suffering.
Well, that goes back to my original question. What do you mean by experiences suffering? What does that mean? And why should we care about experiencing
Do
suffering.
you care about human suffering?
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Because they most humans reciprocate that. So let's say
What do
like
you mean reciprocate?
like I'll care about the suffering of a human, and the other human will care about my suffering. That sort of thing.
What about the suffering of somebody that doesn't know you exist?
Not talking about
So
like
they
the
don't, they
capacity
can't,
to
they
care
necessarily
about my
can't know about
suffering.
your suffering. Do you think it is okay for them to suffer? You think that's like fine? You don't care if they suffer?
Sorry, what?
So let's say that there's somebody that you know is suffering, but they don't know you exist. Maybe it's like, I don't know, like a celebrity that you look up to or whatever it may be, and they have cancer, right? Would you just like be entirely indifferent? Like what would your position be on that?
Well, it's not about like whether or not they know me personally, and they would like care, and they would care about like my suffering personally. It's more so about like would they, to the same extent that I would care about causing harm to them, would they care about causing harm to me?
Well, they don't know you exist, so they just wouldn't care at all. They just wouldn't know you exist. You're not part of the equation from their perspective.
Okay.
So, by what standard is human suffering wrong?
Okay, hold on. Let me try to. Sorry, my brain is not working right today.
It's okay.
Okay, so by what standard is human suffering wrong? I think it is ultimately that capacity to share a mutual understanding of you don't harm me, I don't harm you.
Why is that mutual understanding valuable?
Because, well, ultimately I want to live, and
So?
Well, you're talking about my perspective here, right? So that's like the baseline.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about your moral framework, yeah.
Of course, my morals are gonna base around me. They're my
Do you
morals.
think that your preferences are morality?
No, but they're my morality.
They're your morality, but they're not morality. So do you believe that morality is stance dependent?
Stance dependent. I'm sorry, what does that mean?
Like it's contingent upon your stance, right? It's relativistic. It depends on each individual person's stance, right? So morality is just whatever I think it is, or whatever I want it to be. It just depends on my stance on morality.
Do you believe in an objective morality?
Oh, me? Yeah, I'm a moral realist. But I'd like you to answer my question first.
And what was your question? Sorry.
Oh, so, okay, so you don't even remember the question. So the question I asked you, before you asked me an irrelevant question, was basically, I was explaining that stance independent is basically, you think that it's subjective, right? Fuck, actually, I also forgot my question. God damn it. I'm like so
Yeah, well,
ADHD.
morality is subjective.
Okay. So
what's right or wrong is ultimately subjective.
Okay.
Unless
So
you believe in some like higher deity giving you what you ought to do or whatever.
So why, if I subjectively disagree with you on your morality, why would I, given the fact that morality is just whatever I feel like it is, right, according to you, right? Why would I ever adhere to your moral position?
Well, I guess it would ultimately be within our mutual interest, right? Well, like if you don't care about anything, you don't care about whether you live or die, you don't care about whether
so do
you
you believe
suffer
it
or
has
not.
to be like so you believe that you have to be like a mutual beneficiary? Okay. What if there's like a disabled person, right? They're like in a wheelchair and they have Down syndrome, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so they're not somebody that's going to be able to work a job, right? And they rely on you financially. Do you
Wait, why
believe
did they rely on me financially?
Let's just say it's your kid, okay? Let's say you have a or some shit like that. Yeah. Do you believe it would be okay to like kill them, to torture them because like it's not like a necessarily a mutually beneficial relationship? Like they rely on you, but you don't rely on them. They need you, but you don't need them. And so because it's not like a some sort of like mutually beneficial situation, like do you think it's like okay to disregard them morally?
So this person's my kid, right?
Well, they could be. Or
Well,
maybe it's somebody else's kid. Who knows? Or maybe
well,
it's
if
an
it's not,
orphan.
well, hold on, that changes a
Or
lot.
not somebody else's
Is it
kid.
my kid or is it
Sorry.
their?
It could be your kid, or it could be like an orphan. Either way.
Okay, well, if it's an orphan, I don't think I'm responsible for their well-being at all because I didn't bring
Okay.
them in this world.
So let's say that like they're at your house. Like, is it okay to torture them if you don't get caught?
It's okay to torture them. Sorry, can I have some more clarification what you mean by okay? Because that
Like
seems like a major sticking point
morally
here.
permissible. Is it morally permissible to torture them?
I would say probably not.
Why not?
Okay, hold on. I said okay.
Because nothing about the relationship is necessarily mutually beneficial, right? They're not doing like they're in a wheelchair and they have Down syndrome, right? They can't do anything that benefits you, right? They just lack the capacity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you would have to have some other standard then that isn't
Well,
whether or not
I
you're the
said
mutual
it was about
beneficiaries.
I said it was about the mutually respecting rights. So
No, before you were talking about the idea of two parties being the mutual beneficiaries. And now you're changing your idea. So now you're saying
maybe I
respect.
misspoke, but I'm pretty sure I was talking about like a mutual respect of each other.
Okay.
In the sense that you don't infringe on each other.
Okay.
Infringe on each other's rights.
Okay.
And that's
And
something
why
that
do
I
rights
believe
matter?
humans can do with one another, but I don't think. I guess it's going to depend on the animal, which is why I was saying that as a major sticking point earlier. But I don't think some animals are capable of that.
Capable of what?
Understanding a mutual respect, and that's in that sense, like respect for each other's rights. I don't think
Understanding a mutual respect. Do you think that like somebody that's like severely disabled would be able to understand a mutual respect for people's rights?
like but somebody with Down syndrome, that yeah.
They would understand human rights, like they'd have like a conceptual understanding, like if they're like extremely disabled, right? Let's just say they're like the most disabled person imaginable, okay? Like they're extremely disabled, they have no concept of mutual respect. It's just not something that they're able to conceptualize, right? Do you believe it's the case that they would still be fundamentally different, or do you think it's the case that like
So you're talking about somebody who
warrant moral
cannot
consideration?
understand mutual rights. Like they do not understand the importance of my rights, or they do not understand that I have
They just
rights and
don't
then
have
they
the
have
cognitive
rights, and that we
yeah, they just simply lack the cognitive capacity to understand that. Is it okay to torture that person?
I don't think. Okay, I'll preface this. I
It's
don't
like a
think.
yes or no question.
Well, I have to
Is
preface
it morally
this
permissible? No. Just give me a yes or no, and then you can clarify.
well, you've been doing
afterwards.
that the entire time. You
Okay.
just been like bombarding me with questions the entire time. I have to preface this, okay?
I would like you to answer the question.
Okay, I will, but let me preface
Okay.
this. I don't think, at least from my understanding, people with Down syndrome or any of that, I don't think they're incapable of understanding mutual rights in the way I described it.
Mutual rights? What is a mutual right?
As in, like, I like living. So
I
maybe
like
this other
living?
person, like, I like living. This other person likes living. Maybe we should both let each other live. You know, like a very basic thing there.
So like a some sort of like basic logical understanding? Yeah, there are going to be people that exist that lack that capacity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you disagree with that? Do you think that everybody has the capacity to
I never
think
said everybody
logically?
does, but
Okay, so for the people, so
I,
let's say there's somebody that doesn't. Okay, they're disabled and they're not able to. They have like a severe disability. Okay, is it okay to torture that person? Okay, I'm still waiting for a yes or a no.
okay to disable that sorry, is it okay to torture that person?
Should be like a really easy question to answer.
Well, okay, no, it isn't an easy question to answer because we're talking about like very.
It's not easy to determine. Okay, if there's like a disabled person that can't grasp basic concepts,
It doesn't determine if it's okay to torture them. Grasp whether or not I deserve.
Like, why are you? Why do you even have to think about this? Like, the obvious answer is no. Of course, it's fucking horrible to torture a disabled person for simply not being able to understand, like a basic concept. Like, yeah, obviously that's wrong.
Oh, no, not a.
But like you're like so like worried about like making sure you don't accidentally like contradict yourself. You're like trying to stay consistent with a position that you know is intuitively wrong. So you're like, well, fuck, which one do I go with? Do I go with the intuitively correct position, or do I go with the one that's more consistent with the dumb fuck shit I said earlier? And that's why you're having cognitive dissonance right now, and why you can't make up your mind.
Relax. Okay. Let's take a step back here, okay?
So this doesn't address the point. So rather than tone policing me, maybe you could like address the point.
The point being that one question of many that you've asked me.
Yeah, the fact of the matter, okay? Maybe you could address either A, anything that I just said like a second ago, or B, you could like answer the question, right? Is it or is it not morally permissible to torture a disabled person who doesn't understand that basic concept?
You mean there's like this weird example where it's like, if somebody can't understand morality, is it okay to torture them? I don't know what that means. What do you mean doesn't understand morality?
Yeah, they just wouldn't like have like the cognitive capacity to understand that as like a concept.
Do they understand? Do they think it's wrong to torture me?
They have no position on it. It hasn't crossed their mind. They don't understand what that is.
So there's like brain dead, or
no, they just wouldn't. They just wouldn't be something that would cross their mind.
What?
They just wouldn't think about it.
They just wouldn't think about it. Okay, if asked, if I asked them, how would you think about torturing me?
They're nonverbal.
Okay, wait, so they're nonverbal or they're non-communicative? Like, can they communicate, or?
No, they can't communicate. Is it okay to torture that person? Simple yes or no.
Okay, so they cannot communicate at all.
Correct. Yes, they're severely disabled. Is it okay to torture them? That's like an obvious yes or no question. Holy shit.
Hold on. I think a better question would be asked.
Struggling to answer like anything that any normal person would be able to intuitively answer. Any normal person would say,
intuitively,
yes, of course it's wrong to
like
torture a disabled person.
Here, okay? Stop appealing to this like intuitively. Okay, this makes no fucking sense.
You know it's an absurd position.
No, you just been like bombarding me with questions here. Okay, I don't understand.
If you can't answer whether or not it's wrong to torture a disabled person for not understanding something, yeah, I think that there might be a problem with your framework if it's contradicting your framework. That's why you're not able to answer it, right?
Okay,
because,
hold on.
Again,
explain your position to me then. Hold on. Explain your position to me then. Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm a hedonic act utilitarian, so I believe that suffering ought to be minimized and that pleasure ought to be maximized.
Suffering of everything.
Mm-hmm. And the pleasure of everything. Yep.
But not meal. Okay, and to bring it back, you don't think mealworms can experience suffering at all?
I believe it's the case that they wouldn't.
What about rats?
I don't think that they'd experience much. I think it's like a spectrum.
So you don't think rats would? What about cows?
Cows? Oh yeah, cows are definitely sentient. Well, like rats would be like, hold on.
Okay, so hold on.
Let me just Google real quick. Because like,
okay, no, don't fucking do this. Okay.
Are rats? No, I just want to give you correct answers. So it seems to be the case that rats are, sentient. I think. Yeah, rats are sentient. They're probably not very sentient, but they are sentient nonetheless. So they would warrant a little bit of moral consideration.
A little bit. So it's not like a binary here where like they either warrant it or not. There's like a spectrum.
No, it's not. It's not like a binary. Well, I mean, they do warrant it, right? but like it's also like a spectrum as to like the extent, right? Like the extent of like you're like obviously like I would agree that like humans would have the greatest capacity to experience pleasure versus suffering, right? But I also believe it's the case that like say for instance like there's like a cow, right? They're going to be able to experience more pleasure and suffering than a rat, right?
I don't.
But I believe
Well,
it's the case that the
I'll
suffering.
grant you that, but I don't know if that's true. But I'll grant you that, sure.
Mm.
I don't know the brain structure of a rat versus a cow. I gotta be honest.
Well, yeah. So it's going to be the case that like obviously cows are able to experience pleasure and suffering, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So according to my
Yeah,
worldview,
like if you
it's
heard a
bad to
cow,
cause
it'll
them. It's
be sad.
bad to cause them suffering, right? So like if it's the case that like like I don't know if you've seen like any of the videos that have come from
Like the-
factory farms. They basically look like gore, right? That's where your food
Oh, I've
comes
seen
from.
it. Believe me.
Yeah. So you've seen like the baby chicks going into the blender video. You've seen the like the
Yeah, there's
the
a
baby
video by
calves
Lexia
getting
where
their
it was like
heads
a
smashed
pig.
smashed into the floor, and some of them like will be like hanging upside down on the thing after they're dead, but like some of them will like still twitch and be alive, right? Meaning that they're suffering, obviously, right? I would argue that the amount of suffering that they experience supersedes any amount of pleasure that you could possibly derive from not being vegan.
And to bring it back to the rat, would you be opposed to the factory farming of rats, or like let's say people want like rat meat?
Probably.
Okay,
I
because I'm
mean,
just like
rat
trying
meat
to
probably
figure out
wouldn't taste very
like
good.
what.
Yeah, I mean, rats are sentient, so yeah, I'd be opposed to that.
Okay, and to bring it back around, like what does sentience mean necessarily?
I just take it to mean that you have the capacity to experience pleasure and suffering. You have like conscious experiences, right?
Well, wouldn't a mealworm be able to experience suffering?
I mean, I could look it up. I don't think so.
By
Are
suffering, like by suffering, do you mean
sentient?
pain or?
Yeah, like consciously experienced pain. Apparently, okay, it seems like there's, it seems like there's like not that much research on it.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, this is the issue I have with veganism is that it's like very hard for me to draw a line between what creature deserves consideration and what doesn't. Yeah.
Sure.
So
maybe I could like sell you on like because like maybe I could sell you on something like.
And this could just be out of like laziness on my part, but for me,
yeah, that's fair.
I found it was like the easiest to just because like it's very weird for me to say that I will not eat cows, but when I pull out of my driveway, I run over like 20 ants. You know.
Well, yeah, ants don't experience the consciousness or sentience that that like a cow would experience, right?
Yeah, I'll say that. Yeah, definitely cows have a higher degree of
right. And it's not just about killing either, right? It's about suffering, right?
So
like
if you
it was the
kill
case,
a cow without causing any suffering, like just instant death, would you be okay with that?
If it's the case that the cow that was bred experienced more pleasure than suffering throughout their lifetime, then yes, I'd be okay with that. Obviously, that's not how factory farms work.
Okay.
So yeah, because like that was because originally what my position was the non-vegan position, right? And my reasoning was, well, I believe it's the case that like killing in of itself isn't immoral. Like if it's just like an animal, right? And like as long as they're like killed ethically, I don't have an issue with that, right? So that was sort of like a similar line of argumentation that I went down. But ultimately, in terms of like the meat that you're actually buying from stores and whatnot, right? That's going to be factory farmed, right? So it's not going to be ethical. They're not going to be killed in painless ways, and they're going to live really shitty lives, right? Where they're like treated like fucking shit, basically, right? So like their lives are shit, right? They're like bred to be miserable, basically, for the small amount of pleasure and economic value, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, factory farms leave animals in small cages until they're stunned. Like it's actually wild.
Okay, so
like
just
you can
be clear,
see that
your
they're in
issue is
pain.
more so with the conditions of killing an animal rather than like the conceptual.
Yeah, it's about animal suffering, not about animal death.
Okay. If they killed them ethically, or if they killed them without pain or suffering,
Yeah, if we lived in like
fine
some
with
sort
that.
of like if we lived in some sort of utopia where it's like let's say like we bred animals and like we ended up eating their meat, but like we did it ethically and we made sure that like we didn't like separate them from like their families and shit, and that like they lived good lives, that they experienced more pleasure than suffering and were taken good care of, right? But then it's like whatever, then like you then you kill them, right? But you do it ethically in a way that doesn't cause them suffering. I guess like the only issue I would have with that, now that I think of it, is like obviously cows have families too, right? And I'm pretty sure that they can also bond with other cows, right? So like that would hurt the cows that you're not killing. So that'd be like the main issue I'd have with it. But it would be a lot less morally egregious, I guess.
Okay. So I don't really know where else to go from. It seems like we sort of reached a. I mean, I can agree with that sort of.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd agree that inherently the suffering's necessarily bad, but I think it's unnecessary. But
yeah, so like it's like not even like I'm a chronically picky eater, okay? It's really not that hard to go vegan, right? Unless you're like, I mean, I'm not sure what it's like if you're like you're barely scraping by, but if you're like a good saver and like you're able to afford food that's like kind of decent, right? Then it shouldn't be that difficult to go vegan. Like, I mean, I'm living off of vegan chicken nuggies, vegan chicken tendies, and now vegan corn dogs as well, I suppose, right? And then like other stuff like fruits and vegetables as well. So it's like, and like I think like what, like I'm like the autism kind of, like I literally have like food autism where it's like I like
you only eat chicken
I eat like
nuggets, or
yeah, exactly. So like even somebody like me can go vegan. So yeah.
yeah, I would say it's probably the right position. As I said, like I agree with it from an environmental perspective. Like
Okay.
just like
Sure, yeah.
farming is simply very inefficient.
Yeah, that too.
And
yeah, it's inefficient. It's bad for the environment, right? So
I forgot the exact percentages, but like so much of U.S. agriculture is devoted to just feeding cows, and like every 10 pounds of grain you produce,
so you're aware of the fact that. So you would agree that it's like factory farming is bad regardless, okay? Maybe we disagree on the reasons why. So would you then agree that it's wrong to, say, for instance, financially contribute to the thing that you would agree is bad, therefore increasing supply by increasing demand for it, right? That's necessarily
as in
how
like
that works.
buying it or subsidizing it, like from the government.
No, if you like buy animal products, right? You're basically increasing demand because you are creating more of a demand for more product, right? Meaning that they're going to create
conceptually, I
a
agree
greater
it's wrong,
supply, right?
but
So
like
if it's the case, wait, you agree that it's wrong morally, right?
to like conceptually, but let me preface this, or sorry, let me ask you another question. If somebody were to buy, if somebody were to buy like, I don't know, a T-shirt from Walmart that was made from like child slaves in Bangladesh or whatever, do you think that would be would you morally condemn them for that?
No. So the fundamental distinction there is, if we're talking about child slave labor in Bangladesh, okay, it's going to be the case that either you increase supply and demand for it, right? And then like whatever, you have like these child laborers, right? That are working for butt fuck nothing, right? Or it's the case that you don't, and then they, whatever, like starve and die. It's not like their conditions are going to be improved somehow magically if you don't, right? So oftentimes it's the case that like I'll get like an analogy. Oh well, what where your phone is made with components of slave labor. Oh, well, what if you buy a shirt that was like made unethically, right?
Yeah.
But it's going to be the case that like if you choose not to buy it as a consumer, right, that doesn't improve the material conditions of the people that are being exploited. So that's the fundamental distinction there, right? Whereas if you stop financially contributing to an increasing supply and demand to, say, for instance, the meat industry, right, then they're going to create less cows to live lives of suffering. And if you want to go with like the environmental argument, they would also necessarily have to, feed those cows, those additional cows, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the way that's like inefficient, right? And have a place for those cows to stay. I mean, they keep them as cramped and miserable as possible, right? So maybe that wouldn't be that much of an issue, but
okay.
But it would be an issue because I think that the main issue is the animal suffering. I think that that's way worse than the environmental impact. But in either case, you'd be financially contributing to both negative outcomes.
Yeah. Sorry. But couldn't you also say that if you didn't buy the phones from not phones, shirts from Bangladesh, right? Or sorry, from Bengal, it would give them less money to have less children with.
What? No.
It's a very roundabout argument, but you wouldn't be funding. You wouldn't be funding their. Sorry,
no, I kind of already addressed this example, right? Like you're not going to be bettering their material conditions, right? These there's going to be like a number of kids or whatever, and a number of families that exist there, right? You're not changing that by buying by the amount of shirts that are bought that were made in Bangladesh, right? So while it could be the case that maybe they increase the amount of child slave labor that they use to create that, what you're failing to account for is the child laborers that would be there. Like they wouldn't be living a life that's lives that are any better, right? They would be either starving to death or doing something that's just as bad, right? It's not going to change anything.
What about the cow? I guess you're saying the cow wouldn't exist.
Yeah, the distinction is that the cow wouldn't exist, right? They wouldn't force additional cows to breed with each other in order to make more, to make them suffer, right? Or to be bad for the environment, like you seem to care more about, right? So that's the distinction, right? So in one case, you increasing supply and demand has like a direct, measurable harm, right?
Well,
whereas in
when
the
you say
other
direct,
case,
you mean like a very it's abstract. Like if you stopped buying meat, right?
Yeah, if you stop buying meat, right? That means
you stopped buying meat. Has that affected the U.S. meat industry at all? Really?
What do you mean by affected? Well, it's going to be the case that like over a period of time, right? They're going to create slightly less cows, right? Like they're going to create slightly less cows to live lives of suffering, right?
And it honestly, I don't think so. I don't think one.
How do you think?
Person.
How do you think supply and demand works?
If you had like 100 people doing it, maybe. But
how do you think supply and demand works?
Okay. So yeah. Okay. Now we're going to econ. This is
I could just explain it to you if you don't know, or if you need a refresher.
Explain to me like I don't know it. There we go.
Yeah, sure. So basically, when as demand goes up, supply also goes up, right? It's like a linear graph kind of thing, right? So it's going to be the case that in order to meet that demand, they would want to increase supply, right? Just as like a general rule of thumb, right? So by decreasing the demand, by not being a customer or a consumer of it, meaning that there's less people that demand that product, right? They're going to want to create less of that product, right? Because corporations don't want a surplus, right? They're going to try to avoid that, right? So in order to avoid that, they just make less cows because there's less demand for them, right? They try to get as close as possible to like not having like a surplus or a shortage, right? They wouldn't want either.
Okay. I understand what you mean.
I don't really
but
like the economic argument as much, but
the effects
of
of this is it like your absence in the meat market. It's not gonna. There's no like higher authority that's really gonna feel that at all.
Well, no, they're not gonna feel it, but like
they would have to feel it in order to adjust their
No, they're gonna.
supply.
Well, they're gonna.
They would
they're
have
gonna
to feel
adjust it
to
ever
the supply
so.
side of it.
Well, they're gonna. Well, hold on. They're gonna adjust it ever so slightly. Right?
Well, how?
What are you talking about? Like, do you
Well,
think
you
that there's like
would have to have a distributor.
Do you think there's hold on?
Distributor.
Do you think
Hold
there's
on.
one big? Do you think there's like one big meat company where it's like, or do you?
Well,
think
no,
there's,
you'd
like,
have to have a
multiple?
distributor of meat who notices that, hey, we're selling less meat now. And they would tell the people who they buy the meat from, okay, we're going to be buying less meat from now on, and then they would ultimately make less cows, right? That's sort of how this
Well,
would
they're
play
gonna
out in real
try to
life.
be more efficient to that, right? They're gonna want to stay as close as possible to equilibrium.
But
right?
I don't think
so.
you're
If it's
one.
the case that there's like one less consumer, right? They're gonna want to make slightly less in order to meet. In order to meet that.
I think that's going to be not noticeable to them.
Okay. Do you think that they don't keep track of the number of people that buy products? Like the number of products that get bought?
To the single person? No.
They don't keep track of the number of products.
They're not
going to
notice. They're not going to notice a difference of, let's say, of like, I don't know, 200 million people.
How do you think they?
200 million people buying their product. They're not going to notice one missing. No.
How do you think? Okay. How do you think companies determine how many products to make? Right.
Well, I'm assuming they give it to a store. The store sells it for a certain amount of time.
Give it to a store. Okay.
Sorry, I wasn't finished.
Okay.
The store takes account to how much of it has sold before it goes bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they're left over with a surplus of that and it goes bad, then they have to throw it away. They
do you think that
buy
the
less
store,
from the manufacturer.
Mm-hmm. You think that the store would buy less if a bunch of it's going bad, or if more of it's going bad, right? So that less.
But I don't think a difference
waste.
of one packet of chicken nuggies is going to influence the supply of it very much.
Well, do you eat? Is that the only animal product you've ever had?
Well, sorry, I'm going. How many
chickens do you think?
What you ate?
How many chickens do you think you've eaten over your lifetime?
A lot, probably.
A lot. Okay, so that'd be like a lot of chickens, right? So that's like a lot of chickens that could.
Are you talking about like a lot, like placed in front of me, like this, these many pounds of chicken you've eaten over this over the course of your life?
It'd probably be like over it'd probably be like over 100 chickens worth, right?
Yeah, but ultimately, over the course of my entire lifetime, but over the course of my entire lifetime, it would be a drop in the bucket for the entire industry.
A drop in the bucket. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe that like let's say that like there are like 5 animals, okay? There are 5 animals, and it's the case that if you don't go vegan, that they will live very miserable lives where they experience nothing but like pain and suffering, right? Until they get killed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you believe it's the case that it would be that would be like okay, let's say? Like, do you think that would be like nothing? Like, it's like okay, like that's nothing. Oh well, I guess that doesn't matter. Is that your position?
Well, I guess the real question would be like whether my enjoyment from that would offset the suffering caused to the animals.
Well, from a utilitarian sense, the answer would be no. How much enjoyment realistically do you get from eating chicken?
Well, I do.
Well,
there's no way to quantify this.
There's no way to quantify it? Okay.
There is no way to quantify this, no.
Okay, do you think that it is like a pleasurable experience a very, very bad experience, you would agree that it's like a really bad experience to like live your entire life in like a really small confined cage with like where like you don't have any space to move. Like it's really fucking cramped, right? It's dirty, it's disgusting, right? There's shit all over the place, right? It's just like fucking awful. Like do you think that the amount of suffering from the perspective of a cow, right, that would be caused by that would not supersede the amount of pleasure that you get from eating a burger? Like there's obviously a difference in magnitude there. We can just intuit that to be the case, right?
Well, again, you said different different animals require like it's not binary for like which ones
sure,
deserve
you could argue that like
which ones don't.
Yeah,
so
sure.
so this is
But I would say that cows are sentient enough to the point where obviously it's going to be the case, based on how sentient they are, that the amount of suffering they would experience from that would be far greater than the amount of pleasure that we get from eating a burger, right?
I'm going to be honest.
If you're going to take what you're taking is the counterintuitive position, in which case you would have to justify it.
No, I'm telling you, I don't know.
You don't know.
And you're appealing to this like we are obviously this is the case. That's what you said. Obviously. Obviously.
Well, yeah, I do have like if you have like the unintuitive position, yeah, you're gonna have to defend that. Yeah, obviously.
Well, it says the unintuitive position, but this is the standard.
You literally, obviously, I don't trust your intuition, to be fair, because like you've earlier struggled to answer whether or not it would be wrong to torture a disabled person, but that's besides the point. Like you were struggling to answer that question.
Well, your example was like so
what would be the
there.
intuitively correct position.
It was so ridiculous. Sorry.
So obviously, we wouldn't want to appeal to your intuition because your intuition is insane, right?
Yeah.
It's not the intuitive position.
Based, yeah, true.
So, let's see. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to sell you on the idea, but I mean, it's definitely something to think about. Maybe we could have a separate debate at some point about. I think maybe part of the issue is like you don't subscribe to the same ethical theory as me, so you're basing it off of your ethical theory, in which case like maybe it's morally permissible, right? According to mine, it's not. So maybe we would have to start out by having a discussion.
Well, the issue I have is that you will appeal to this like obviously this is the case to do the heavy lifting for your arguments.
Yeah, if it's like something intuitive.
Well, you
have to make an argument against it, right? If it's like a default position, like yeah, you'd.
Well, it isn't though, because we do factory farming.
We do factory farming, right? Okay.
Yeah, it is obviously not.
Yeah,
it is obviously not normal.
Specific. Yeah, so if it's something more specific, like, is it bad to skin a dog alive, right? Or is it bad for animals to suffer, right? The intuitive position is yes, of course it's bad, right? That's obviously the intuitive position. But come on, you know it's the intuitive position.
Well, hold on.
You're lying if you say it's not.
The issue with intuition is, okay, so let's say...
I'm not... by the way, I don't believe
Okay, let's say you evacuate the White House, okay?
Morality,
you evacuate the White House, and then you blow it up.
Hold on, I don't even believe that intuition determines morality.
If you offer intuition, that's bad. But...
I don't believe
morally
that intuition
speaking,
determines morality.
There's no issue with it. You're blowing up an inanimate object.
Yeah, so I don't believe that intuition determines morality. I've already stated that I'm a utilitarian, and I'm actually a moral realist, right? But if you're like because you're a moral anti-realist, you believe that morality is subjective, right? So that's necessarily going to appeal to intuition, right? So do I personally think that intuition is the ultimate deciding factor in whether or not something is moral? No, that's not what I believe, right? Seems to be the case that, like, to an extent, that's what you believe, because you seem to think that morality is contingent upon, like, some sort of like a subjective determination, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you would most likely appeal to intuition.
Well, no, your morality is based off of what, like suffering the bad.
Yeah, suffering ought to be minimized. Pleasure
Yeah,
ought to be
suffering was bad.
maximized. I feel like this is a
Okay.
different discussion. I kind of want to. I don't want to have like another debate. I want to. This person's in the waiting room, and
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, we
yeah,
can do this another time.
we
But
could
you know,
we could have another convo.
yeah, it
But
was nice
thank you
talking
for
to you.
coming on, and have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Hello. What'd you like to talk about?
Hello. I've been looking at the debate ideas for a bit. I'm not, nothing's like really like catching my eye, but I'm down to like look around and like see if there's anything you want to debate about.
I mean, do you disagree with me on anything, or?
I'm not sure because like I I haven't been really like catching into streams as often as I should be. I have been. I used to watch a couple of your videos. I watched like a couple of your videos not too long ago, but to be honest, I'm a little I'm a little I might I don't know. My bad. I'm not sure because like I'm looking at
Okay.
the debate ideas, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Ah.
I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
I am gonna
God
end.
damn it.
I am gonna. I mean, I do intend on ending stream soon. So.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So
I'll
I
probably
mean,
just then. I'll probably just then. You know, I'm sorry for like wasting your time. I'm probably just gonna go. I'm gonna
Alright.
like think about this more, and next debate stream I'll come back with an actual topic.
all right. Of course. Have a good one.
Sorry for like the 2-minute waste of time.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's
All
fine. Goodbye.
right. Bye.
Hello, Estelle. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm kinda not sleep. I should be sleeping right now, but
But you're like me and have no semblance of a sleep schedule. I get you. I get you.
and I need to get that in order because I'm going back to college very soon. So
Okay.
we're talking about morality. Morality is a strange thing. It's
Your camera's green on my end. Hold on.
oh,
Maybe it might be it. Oh well.
Well, if
Well, let me
it's
enable
if it
and-
doesn't fix itself.
I'm just gonna disable and enable it real quick, and hope that it works. It's okay if it doesn't. Just go on.
All right. So okay. So you've been saying that anti-realism and subjectivism are the same thing. Morally. For moral anti-realism, it is not subjectivism. It doesn't say that there are more.
I didn't necessarily even make that claim, but I was arguing against somebody who was arguing that morality was subjective.
Yes, but that doesn't mean that they are anti-realist.
Well, they would have to be. You can't be somebody that believes that morality is subjective and then be like a moral realist, right? You have to be an anti-realist.
No.
Not maybe you could make the argument that not all anti-realists are subjectivists, but that all subjectivists are anti-realists, right?
Nope. You can
You
be a
disagree with that?
realist and be subjective. So you have to be a realist to be subjective. To be a moral subjectivist. You have to
No, it's the opposite.
think that there is such thing as morality, but it belongs to anyone, to cultures or to.
No,
but
you have these
anti-realism
terms.
doesn't think that morality is a thing.
You have these terms reversed. I think that's the issue. You just have the two terms reversed. I think that's the
How so?
issue. Yeah. So moral realism proposes that morality is stance independent. Okay, and in order for something to be stance independent, it is necessarily the case that it is not determined by a stance or some sort of subjective opinion, right? If it's the case that you're an anti-realist, right, that means that you believe that morality is stance dependent. It's
No.
contingent upon a
No.
stance. It's
No.
stance independent.
It's neither stance dependent or independent. It's not a thing. Morality isn't a thing. If you are an anti-realist, you don't think that morality is real.
What? What do you, real in what sense? Like objective?
That is a thing that we can talk about, make claims about it. If you're a subjectivist, you could say that each one has true true morality for themselves. That they
No, subjectivism outright denies realism and contradicts it, right? A prerequisite of moral realism is that it stands independent. So a subjective opinion or some sort of subjective stance would necessarily be something that the morality would be dependent on if you are a subjectivist, right? So by definition, you cannot be a moral realist and a subjectivist. This is a contradiction.
If there was a moral organ in the body that belonged to the person, and we could see that, everyone could see that they had the moral organ, that they had morals, that would mean that it would be subjective. It would be belonging to a subject, but it wouldn't be not real. So it would be so realism, moral realism, and subjectivism are not incompatible.
What do you think that subjectivism is?
It means that morals are true depending on the subject.
Depending on the subject? It would be on the basis of what they subjectively deem to be the case, right? If morality is subjective, right? It's going to be the case that the morality of one person is going to subjectively be different from the morality of another person, right? Meaning that it's not grounded in some stance-independent form of morality. It is stance-dependent, right? By being the subject that takes a moral stance and having the morality be contingent upon that stance, it is by definition stance-dependent.
But it is something that you can access on you can have an estimation of someone's morality. That morality is a thing. It's just not belonging to an external thing, but an external universal thing. Is not a universal thing, but it is belonging to each and everyone.
Are you thinking of moral universalism? I think you should probably, like, I'm gonna be honest, like, you should probably just like look into what moral realism and moral anti-realism actually prescribe and like what moral subjectivism prescribes before debating me on this. Because I think that you just need to do a bit more research before like taking like a hard stance on the matter. I'm gonna end stream soon anyway, so I would just recommend just like doing like a little bit of research, a little bit of preparation, yeah. I think I'm gonna be done. We can talk
about this later.
Yeah, sure.
But
I'm gonna end stream, so yeah.
I would have talked about veganism and how I don't
feel like having two debates in a row of the same thing.
Let's do that another time.
Anyways, have a good one.
Thank you. It was fun. It was fun.
Yep. Thank you for coming on. All right. That's going to be the last caller. Thank you, Batalcraft, for $5, you beautiful fucking bastard. Anyways. Lamau, so many L's tonight. From who? Me or the people I was debating? Or both? The number of L's would be contingent upon the number of conversations, since that wouldn't even describe who in the conversation is winning or losing. Yeah, I will say, I think President Sunday may have been right. I don't know. That was fun, not? Anyways, I wish I was in the call with the veganism one. I've never debated veganism before. That was like my first time debating it, I think. Or maybe I've debated it one other time on the politics server. I don't know. Not all of them were L's, but the majority. You did all right? Yeah, I don't know. It was the first time I've debated it. Hey, thank you, Anonymous, for the 5. You beautiful fucking bastard. I'm gonna do 2 Skirt Go Spinnies for each of the $5 donos now because I haven't done a fit check. Right. Liberals, am I right? True. W fit, hell yeah. But dude, I've never debated veganism. I was like kind of like, oh boy, because like I wasn't even in the mood to debate veganism. So I was like, oh fuck, this is like my weakest position. But oh well, because like I have like a list of positions in the server. Anti-vegans denying supply and demand. Yeah, it's like I don't. That was like really weird. But I don't know. I think that like I don't know. I feel like all I really did was like get him to like bite some like insane bullets. Look at you, cute little twirls. Hell yeah. But yeah, here are the debate topics. Like LGBTQ plus rights, trans rights, gender-related issues, abortion, normative ethics, meta-ethics, agnostic atheism versus your religion, veganism, any other disagreements you have. Yeah. And then feel free to suggest other topics. Yep. Look at you, cute little twirls. Yeah, like is it morally permissible to torture a disabled person? And like he was struggling to answer it. It's just like hard to have a conversation with somebody like that because it's like I don't know, like it's just like an insane bullet to bite. I don't know. Hey, thank you, Tired Adult, for the 5. You beautiful fucking bastard is saying Tired Adult. W Spinny, hell yeah. One time, a guy invoked Mother GIA to claim that plants were alive in a veganism debate with me. Well, it doesn't even matter if they're alive. It matters if they're sentient. Let's see. Abortion is wrong because it goes against society and civilization. Change my mind. Yeah, sure, you could debate me. Tomorrow. I'm ending the stream, but I'm gonna do more debate streams. I'm gonna definitely do one tomorrow, I think. So like if you look here, right, there's like if you go to the about section of my channel, you'll see that one of the links is call-ins. It says call-ins and it's a Discord link, right? You'll want to join that. And yeah, we're gonna do more debates. So I just gotta verify some more people. And then yeah. Dude, I'm surprised that fucking President Sunday, of all people, decided to debate me. I was like, oh damn. Is he like streaming or was he like... No, he just wanted to call in. It's cool, I guess. Oh wait, I didn't mean to click that. Fuck. Don't click. Anyways. President Sunday has the hottest voice. He does have a good voice. He has a very good voice. He has a great voice. He said Emra told him to debate you, but I didn't care if that meant he was streaming or anything. No, it probably was just in DMs. I would presume. I could be mistaken. I have no idea. No idea. Maybe he was streaming and then he ended. Why do you think abortion is good? I didn't see a stream pop up from him. Yeah, me neither. Sorry, it just looks laggy as hell on my end. Do you think if I owned a pet, played with him every day, and after 2 years of life, wanted bacon, and humanely killed it,